study Buddhism from the very beginning at different places, at different stages, at different institutes, for instance, in the Dhamma schools. This is something that I have observed throughout the time, that whatever you have already covered and studied in the school, in the Dhamma school, you sort of, you are complacent with it, and you don't sometimes want to dig into it to see the profundity or the depth of that particular thing. And sometimes we just satisfied with what we already know about that particular teaching. But actually, we are supposed to review our understanding about the Dhamma from time to time, because each time you look into it, you come up with the profound meaning. Therefore, even though you have already mastered and studied this particular sutta, there is always a lot to know about this particular sutta, because all these suttas, we cannot say that these are simple suttas and day-to-day and suttas that has the concern only about the household and worldly life and worldly well-being, because every time when the Buddha talks to us, and he would talk to us out of compassion for us, and also always he used his wisdom and insight. So all these teachings have eternal value. So this is relevant every time, eternally, everywhere, regardless of the time and the space. The relevance of these particular suttas can be seen everywhere, all the time. Therefore, it is really interesting that we are talking about the importance of this particular sutta. The other thing is that Sigālovāda Sutta, now most of the time, whenever we hear, the word Sigālovāda Sutta, very first thing that would come to our mind is about the duties and obligations and the mutual responsibilities that we are supposed to perform towards each other. But actually, that is just one single aspect of that sutta only. There are other very important aspects too. So this is a sort of holistic approach to the well-being, I would say, because here the talks about the individual well-being and the social well-being and all kinds of well-being we can see here in this particular sutta. Therefore, without skipping and jumping onto the other parts and the parts which are very familiar to us, and we would like to spend time talking about that, still we need to cover the whole aspect of this particular sutta, so we can have a better understanding. Also, we can truly acknowledge, truly appreciate this masterpiece, I would say, because as far as this the history of mankind is concerned, this kind of sutta is of a great importance, because this kind of suttas have laid a very strong foundation for the whole humanity, for their well-being. Those who actually study the history of religions, history of philosophy, always appreciate this particular sutta, Sigālovāda Sutta, because this has been serving immensely for the welfare and for the well-being of all humanity, because after all, we all are human beings and we are social beings, so we really need profound teachings with which we can grow and with which we can enhance our state of being as human beings. And so this kind of sutta is very needed. And also we see the relevance of this kind of sutta today more than ever before, because we see a gradual deterioration occurring every part of the world, everywhere, in every field of this society, community, and the world as a whole. So therefore, it is very timely that we discuss the relevance and the importance of this particular sutta. So in this particular sutta, actually, we come across 6 main things, main subtopics. These are the main subtopics that this particular sutta covers. So there are 4 corrupt deeds and also 4 grounds, Chattaro Kamma Kilesa, Chatuttanang, and 6 drains on wealth, and Cha Apaya Mukani. And this particular sutta talks about extensively about fake friends and good-hearted friends, Mitta Patirupaka and Suhada Mitta, and also ultimately this talks about the importance of, the covering the 6 quarters. Actually, this particular sutta was so named based on this, the last point, that is about the Chaddisa Patichadana, which has to do with the duties and obligations assigned to us as individuals, as group of individuals, as in the whole social strata. We can see Buddha is assigning certain specific duties to each one of us, and then that part we see in the 6th point, covering of the 6 quarters. So you all know about the background story about this particular sutta. One time, it's a well-known story that and the householder called Sigālaka, he used to sort of revere 6 quarters. He would come early in the morning and he would go to a certain place, and he would sort of worship and revere directions, mainly 6 directions. So then Buddha happened to meet him, and on his way to alms round, and then Buddha sort of interviewed him and asked what household you are doing here, and what is the purpose of doing here. And Buddha was wanted to know why he is doing this, and the notion and the ideology behind this conduct. And he honestly expressed that, okay, Venerable, this is something I was assigned by my parents, and this is one of their last wills, so I'm just fulfilling their wishes just by revering these 6 directions. So Buddha said that, well, when it comes to this holy dispensation, this Arya Vinaya, the noble dispensation, we also have a particular 6 direction worships, or the 6 quarters. So if you are interested in, I can teach you what are those particular teachings. So he was actually very much interested in knowing what the Buddha have to say about that, and there Buddha gave this very informative and extended version of this sutta, where we see all these 6 points Buddha is preaching to him. So not only to that particular householder, we see the relevance of this particular sutta for every one of us, whether we are living a household life or a monastic life too. There are a lot of things that we can get from here. So then it is very important that we discuss all these 6 things, and at least the outline. And I mean, I don't think we have time enough to discuss everything, all these 6 points in detail, but I will try my best to give you at least a kind of idea about these 6 things, and so you can later on you can find more information on your own. Coming to the first point, this is where Buddha talks about the 4 corrupt deeds. It's really interesting that that particular person, he was interested about knowing about these 6 direction worshipping. But Buddha did not want to preach that part first. He sort of wanted to teach him the fundamentals and then the foundational framework for that. In other words, the first 14 points Buddha talks about in this particular sutta, they have to do with the moral foundation of our life. That is very important, because the morality, the whole spiritual building, spiritual progress completely depends upon the moral foundation. If we are not having a sound, firm moral foundation in our life, no matter how much interested we could be and how enthusiastic we are towards the other higher spiritual advanced goal, but we cannot achieve it without having a sound moral foundation. This is why Buddha wanted to talk about the relevance and the importance of this morality first. So it is very important that we keep this in our mind, that yes, there are certain things that we need to fulfill before we would fulfill our duties and obligations towards each other. I hear sometimes people say that I fulfill my duties, household duties, to the best of my ability to the members of my family and to everyone in the society in my capacity. But I admit that I have these weaknesses, and I take alcohol and so forth. And so they admit that, and also they wanted to somehow justify their sort of immoral conduct, just because they, based on their and the fulfillment of duties. But just because you fulfill your duties doesn't mean that you are you can break all these moral rules. So you can be really qualified to fulfill your duties and obligations to others and towards each other once you establish yourself firmly on this moral ground. So killing living creatures, stealing, sexual misconduct, and lying, These four things are the very first things that we need to get rid of at the very outset. I mean, if we are still indulging ourselves in these four things, I mean, no no progress whatsoever in the spiritual path or in the society. So no any individual well-being, social well-being, no spiritual well-being possible if we are still indulging in these four corrupt deeds. Therefore, this is very necessary that we get rid of that. And also, the second point Buddha talks about is he talks about foregrounds, biases, and the prejudices here, Chatutthana. All these things, before he would talk about the importance about the duties and obligations. So these are like our homework. You need to do this homework before you want to get qualified to be able to perform your duties and obligations, because you can truly fulfill your duties once you firmly establish yourself in this moral, the moral foundation, on this moral foundation. So then you need to avoid these for biases and prejudices, that is favoritism and hostility, stupidity and cowardice. So this is because especially when making choices and making decisions, these four things are really crucial. And if you make decisions and if you make choices out of these four things, out of favoritism, hostility, stupidity, and cowardice, and so you are likely to ruin your life, and also you will have to definitely reap undesirable consequences very soon in your life. And also it leads to a lot of chaotic consequences for you and for others as well. So these four biases and for prejudices, something that we need to get rid of. And then the next thing, the third point, the third factor Buddha talks about in this particular sutta is the six drains on wealth, cha apaya mukani. What are these six drains, especially that, related to this has to do with particularly we see this from the economical perspective, from the perspective of economical well-being. So Buddha concerned about that too. So actually we can talk about these six things from different perspectives, but in this particular context, Buddha talks about the relevance of these six things from the economical perspective. And then these are identified as six drains on wealth, and especially drinking alcohol, roaming the streets at night, and frequenting festivals that is like indulge in entertainments things, and then the gambling, and then the having bad friends and laziness. These are like the doors through which the all kinds of adversities come to your life. All kinds of catastrophes, catastrophic and chaotic things come into your life through these six doors. So we need to shut all these six doors through which we can achieve sort of individual well-being, and also social well-being, and also financial well-being too, just by stopping and closing the doors for these pathways. So I'm not going to I mean, we can actually, if you are interested in, we can go to detail too, details of each factor. Like for instance, Buddha also talks about what are the drawbacks of drinking. This is also something very interesting, and he doesn't like just reject it and just asks us not to do, or rather he would provide us with the sufficient facts why we really need to get rid of this kind of bad habits, because consequences wise we can see the undesirable consequences and how it leads to so much unhappiness in our lives. And so here, if you are such a person who would sometimes justify your habit of drinking alcohol and drugs, and then you can think about this. These are the words of the Buddha. So Buddha says that immediate loss of wealth. I mean, if you are like addicted to drinking, then promotion of quarrels, of course, it's one of the very obvious undesirable consequences, and also susceptibility illnesses, and disrepute, and also indecent exposure, and weaken wisdom. Sometimes people may have different ideas about this, and they might think that okay, sometimes I know that some even university students, they tend to when they study hard, and they tend to take some sort of drugs and like the alcoholic thing, and then they sometimes say that, oh, I can have a very good focus on that, and I can study well and so forth. But under no circumstance we can justify this habit, because ultimately it leads to the weakening of wisdom. This is what the Buddha observed. So therefore he wanted us to get rid of this kind of habits. And also 6 drawbacks of roaming roaming the street at night, and because certain things actually we need to contextualize it to today's context. We still see that people who are indulging themselves in this kind of on this kind of paths, so then they totally forget about, totally ignore the seemingly unfavorable conditions. So they just go and practice those things, but they completely ignore the possible evil consequences. So here Buddha says that yourself, you and your partner and children, your property are left unguarded, and also you are suspected of bad deeds, and also untrue rumors spread about you, and also you are at the forefront of many things that entails suffering. So that is very clear, and that is something that we all can agree with. Also, 6 drawback of festivals. Here it means like if you are always into like entertainment things and self-indulgence and so forth, then you're always thinking, your mind gets busy wondering where I can see dancing and singing and music and all those sort of things. So you are completely away from your true purpose of your life, and you are going from darkness to darkness. So in other words, so also the 6 drawbacks of gambling. This is also very important that we talk about this, particularly in this part of the world. Sometimes gambling is sometimes this is something like in people's like the annual calendar, they have allocated some time for this gambling too. Once they are on vacation, they would go to certain cities known for this gambling thing, and they would play gambling, and then that way also they sort of justify that we are leading a very busy life and very hectic life, and we don't have freedom. And so once in a while, maybe on vacation, like such situations, we would go and play gambling. But even under that circumstance, we cannot justify it, because gambling leads to so much of chaos and chaotic situations. So the results and the undesirable consequences, but here talks about victory breeds enmity, and the loser mourns their money, and there is an immediate loss of wealth, and the gambler's word carries no weight in public assembly, and friends and colleagues treat them with contempt, and no one wants to marry a gambler, for they think that this individual is a gambler, and they are not able to support a partner. That is to say that we cannot entrust some serious responsibilities to them, because if they are a gambler, so it is very hard to trust them, because they are addicted to it, and they can ruin everything within very short period of time. So we need to take this into account too. The 6 drawbacks of bad friends. Here Buddha talk, in this particular sutta, we see the Buddha talks about the relationship of friends and the friendships quite extensively. But in this particular context too, Buddha mentioned that yes, if you have bad association and association with bad friends, you become friends, and then the companion with those who are addicts and carousers and drunkards and frauds and swindlers and thugs. And so this happens once you go to associate with the bad people, and when you make bad people as your friends. So this is something that unavoidable in that case. And also the 6 drawbacks of laziness. Here, this is very important that Buddha talks about these two in the very beginning, because we have the tendency to procrastinate things, especially in today's context. We see as a kind of situation most of the time people face in their lives, that they don't feel energetic, and then they don't feel like doing things, and they have this tendency of procrastinating things. So actually, just because you procrastinate other things and the day-to-day things, we cannot put the blame on it. But if you were to procrastinate the practice of Dhamma, then of course that can lead to so much of suffering in the samsara. This is why actually Buddha asks us to not to procrastinate. Even a moment before he would pass away into parinirvana, in the Parinirvana Sutta, you can see that clearly that it includes even in the Buddha's final words that he says that practice them with a sense of urgency. So we need to practice it diligently. So there is no room and no room for any sort of procrastination in the Dhamma. So sometimes if you are procrastinator, then you always think like this: it's too cold, and you have a lot of excuses, and too hot, and it's too late and too early, and so forth. A lot of you can come up with a lot of excuses. So this is something that we need to avoid. And also here Buddha talks about the Mitta Patirupaka, fake friends. This is very important. We talk about this, and also as parents, it's your prime duty to educate your children about fake friends, because fake friends are they are everywhere, and true friends, good friends are very rare. So we really need to, take so much of precautions and very keen about this. And we need to actually educate ourselves about this. And also we need to educate our children out of compassion for them before they would face undesirable consequences soon in their life. So as far as fake friends are concerned, Buddha identifies 4 such fake friends. The first one is taker, and then the talker, and the flatter, and the spender, who brings ruin. So we can see who are they, and Buddha gives the detail. The taker, the nature of taker is someone who you can recognize a fake friend who is all take on for grounds. Your possessions end up theirs. Giving a little, they expect a lot. They do their duty out of fear. They associate for their own advantage. Everything, they have that ulterior motives all the time. So they don't do things for you genuinely. Always there is that ulterior motive behind their mind. So they want to take advantage of your relationships. So they don't do things for you out of compassion or genuinely. So taker is someone we really need to be aware of. And then a talker, you can recognize a fake friend who is all talk on 4 grounds. They are hospitable in the past. They are hospitable in the future. They are full of meaningless pleasantries, and when something needs doing in the present, they point to their own misfortune. They say that, I'm in a lot of troubles and I'm in such a difficulty. I would definitely help you if I had this much, and so forth. And they would, sort of lip services only. So they are just talker. So he's a fake friend. So that is the nature and these are the characteristic of that one. And also the flatterer is someone also really dangerous. You can recognize a fake friend who is flatter on 4 grounds too. They support you equally in doing bad and doing good. Both, they have no idea that they would support you for your righteous cause and also unrighteous cause. They praise you to your face and put you down behind your back. That is a very peculiar characteristic you can see in their life. So you need to recognize and you need to identify these kind of characters. The fake friends. And then the spender who brings ruins to your life, we call apaya sahayaka. You can recognize a fake friend who is a spender on 4 grounds too. They accompany you in drinking, roaming the street at night, frequenting festivals and gambling. This is quite common that you can test actually sometimes if you ask your friends to, okay, let's go and have a party and have a dinner party and dancing and so forth. They are ready 24/7, but if you suggest, like, what if we go to the temple and practice sila and do meditation, and what if we go on a 10-day retreat? So it doesn't mean that all those who reject those kind of meditation are belong to this sort of category, but if someone is avoiding that kind of, the good things all the time and always support you about these bad things, then you can clearly recognize and identify them as a spender, or one who brings so much ruin to your life and also ruin to the life of others as well. And then the good-hearted friends also we need to. And the other thing is we need to remember that when we talk about the fake friends, if we already have identify certain characteristics in our life that would characterize as fake friends, that is something that we also need to work on. We need to get rid of. Like this is not to, all these descriptions and details and the information is not for you to just find fault with others, but all these are here just to rectify our own flaws too. So we need to we should determine to ourselves that yes, I must benefit from this teaching, and I must rectify my flaws and my wrongdoings and so forth. So then also if you can identify yourself with these Swadamitas, and also you can be really happy thinking that you are you have been a really good person to yourself and others. So among these good-hearted friends, also you see for people, the helper, friend in good times and bad times, and also the counselor, and the one who is compassionate. So let us see who are they and the characteristics of all these good friends. Helper, the nature is that they guard you when you are negligent, and they guard you property when you are negligent, and they keep you safe in times of danger, and also when things need doing, they supply you with twice the money you need. They are very generous with you, and very caring and sharing. That characteristic you can see in this friend called helper. And also the friend both in plenty and poverty, like the certain friends, they are around us and with us all the time when we have plenty of things, and when we have good material gain. But when they realize that we are in big trouble, and sometimes they leave us. But this good friend is not like that. He's with us regardless of the plenty or the poverty. He's always with us. He or she is always with us. So friend both in plenty and poverty, the characteristics are like they tell you secrets, and then they keep your secrets, and they don't abandon you in times of trouble. They would even give their life for your welfare. So based on these characteristics, you can easily identify who are those good friends. And also counselor, the friend counselor. You can recognize this counselor based on these characteristics. They keep you from doing bad. That is very important. Sometimes for most of the people, like if they always give you good credits and give good compliments and always praise, then we tend to take them as the best friend. But actually the real true good friends, and like if they are really compassionate to you, then they won't give their consent to everything you would do. They sometimes they want to stop you doing certain things. So then they keep you from doing bad thing, and they support you in doing good thing, and they teach you what you do, what you do not know, and also they explain the path to heaven. That is really wonderful thing that it is because of this kind of friends we flourish, that we grow, and I mean, even for us to attain nirvana, we need the help of that kind of, the friends. Also, one who is compassionate, you can recognize this good friend in terms of these characteristics. They don't delight in your misfortune. That is very important thing. They never delight in your misfortune, and they delight in your good fortune. And they don't have any like grudges or any jealousy, envy, enmity, nothing. They completely, they wholeheartedly delight in your good fortune. Sometimes you can see that, like, the friends who are with you, like if you break the news to them that, okay, I bought a new land or new house or new car, and my my sons and my daughters, they graduated from this particular university, and then sometimes you can see the change in very rapid change in happening in their face and in their tone and so forth. So that is because they can delight in your fortune. So, but the good compassionate friend, they truly delight, they take it as their own happiness, and like your happiness, they consider as their source of happiness too. So this friend is a wonderful friend. And also they encourage and praise of you, and they never let other people to criticize you. They always encourage praise of you. That is something very important. And then the Buddha comes to this covering the six quarters, Chadisa Patichadana. I'm not going to talk about all these things in very much detail, but I would just sort of scan through all these things, so you can have a, because I assume that you already have kind of good understanding about these this part and the duties and obligations. So here Buddha talks about the six directions: east, south, west, north, beneath, and above. To each direction, Buddha assigns like parents as the east, and the teachers as south, and the husband and wife as the west, and friends and colleagues as the north, and servants and the workers as beneath, and also the ascetic and Brahmins as above. So then there are certain specific duties assigned to each group, and then these are the assigned duties to children. They're supposed to perform these duties towards their parents. Having supported me, I shall support them, and I shall do their duties. I shall keep the family tradition, and shall make myself worthy of my inheritance, and also furthermore I shall offer alms in honor of my departed relatives. These are the duties that children are supposed to do towards their parents, and also duties of parents. This is truly very important that we understand the importance of these duties, because all these duties begins here. Like it all depends on how you raise your children, what kind of virtues and the values you plant in their lives. So if you plant the good, the seed of virtues and the good things, then of course they grow as good human beings. So the very first thing Buddha asks parents to do and perform towards their children is to get your children rid of evil. That is the very first thing. And then the second thing, encourage them to do good thing. Actually, it's a really interesting point here. We see that the education in professions and education in all kinds of fields, education comes third. The very first two things they have to do with the moral education. So as parents, as compassionate parents, and also intelligent parent, this is something that you need to truly understand, that your prime duty is to provide your children with the sound moral education. If you fail to perform that duty, then no matter what kind of advanced education you may be providing them with, still their life is not going to be a complete one, because they are going to face a lot of troubles in their lives. So the third duty is the education and to train them for a profession. That is also a duty assigned to you. And also this is something maybe debatable, but Buddha happened to talk about this based on the reality prevalent and existed in the Buddha's time. So arrange a suitable marriage. Of course, you can intervene that too, but when we look at it from Buddhist perspective, you can intervene it positively, and because you are an experienced one and you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and you can truly guide them in choosing a suitable partner. So it's a duty assigned to you too. Also at the proper time, you need to hand over their inheritance to them. And here it means not just the material inheritance, but also it's your duty that you train them how to take up responsibilities, and you need to train them, and you need to give them teach them the sense of responsibility from the very beginning too. And so that is one of your duties. And then we have the duties assigned to teachers. Especially, this is the duty of the students towards teachers, rising from. All these duties mean that you need to, have respect towards your teacher, and also a respectful, reverential attitude towards your teacher. That is what is meant here as far as all these duties are concerned. And because otherwise, if you take your teachers to be like Arab, the machines and machineries, who is devoid of consciousness, and then the heart. There is no point in studying. You need to have the sense of gratitude towards the teacher for the things that you receive from them. So for that you owe a great debt of gratitude. So you need to show that gratitude in terms of reverential salutations and so forth. And also, as it's the duty of teacher to train them in the best discipline, and also they grasp their lessons well, and then instruct them in the arts and the science. And also this is also very important, like the recommendation, like introducing them to their friends and also associate. And also it includes, like, it's the duty of the teachers, that they really need to show the path towards success, and they need to introduce and recommend them to good people, and that is one of the duties assigned to teachers. So they provide for their safety in every quarter. Of course, the safety of children, you cannot just say that, okay, I am responsible about that particular student only when he is in my class, and outside the class, I have no responsibility. No, you cannot say, you cannot think that way, because as a teacher, it's your duty to concern about their safety in the future and outside the classroom too. So you really need to take that into consideration if you are a teacher. And also a husband and wife, this is also like this this list has to do with the duties assigned to assigned to a husband. So it's husband's prime duty to being courteous to her, and not despising her. That is very important, and being faithful to her. and handing over authority. Authority here means like, some people, like even though they are living together their entire life, sometimes they don't want to share the decision making, and then the responsibility, and they are sometimes keeping that for themselves, and they don't want to truly share that life and the authority. So it's up to husband to hand over the authority, and then the sense of responsibility, the responsibility, household responsibilities and other things to a wife, and also providing her with adornment, and that means like embellishments, and like what do you call that, a lot of the maybe jewelries and so forth. This is this is something that Buddha recommends, and like, because as husband they have to have that sense of empathy, because women they like that kind of, the beautification things and so forth. So taking that innate characteristic, innate nature into account, with the recommend these two, just by giving that kind of things to their wives, actually it shows that they have that sense of empathy. That is also a very important thing in this list. Also, the duties assigned to wives. So she performs duties well, and she is hospitable to relations and attendants, and he is faithful and protects what he brings, and she is skilled in industrious and discharging her duties. These are very important things, actually. Like, as a wife, if those days, actually, household wives, they were sort of confined to household duties, and then all they did was they were really busy taking care of household duties and taking care of children, and most of the household duties were done by wives, so women. So this is really important. Maybe we have to contextualize this to today's context, but still we can see the relevance of certain all these duties. So, and the other thing is that the hospitable to relationships, like sometimes, this is common to both, like not only to the women or the wife. Sometimes we see that she would treat her friends and the relatives very well, and but when they get the relatives and the friends of her husband, then sometimes if she shows sort of difference, and like the sort of lethargic feeling in taking care of them, and then it amounts to a lot of quarrels and disharmony. To have a very healthy relationship, we really need to take care of each other, and also to take care of each other's friends and the relatives as well. That is also assigned to each party, not only to the wives. And also the faithfulness is very important in all relationships, all kinds of relationships. Also, she protects what he brings. So this is very understandable that if she's just a spender and spending all the time, and doesn't protect the earnings, and then there could be very soon there could be economic the collapse in the household life, and then it leads to all kinds of chaotic things. So that is also one of the duties assigned to wives. So she's skilled and industrious. that is very important, that they become very skilled and industrious and competencies in certain professions, and certain they develop some skills in things, and that is very important. I mean, this can be common to both parties, but especially in this particular context, it talks about Buddha talks about the relevance of this, particularly in relation to the wives. And then the friends and colleagues. This is also this is the fourth factor Buddha talks about in this particular sutta. And I mean, actually, not the fourth factor in this particular, I mean, the directions. So the fourth directions, the north direction. So we all have friends, and we associate with people at different levels. Sometimes at our friendly level, sometimes at diplomatic levels, and very official levels. So then the liability, the liberality, and then the courteous speech, and being helpful, being impartial, and sincerity. These characteristics these are the signs of genuine friendships. So then, if you were blessed with these six qualities, then if you have received all these things from your friends, then it is up to you to perform your next duties, in return. So then if you become such a good friend to your friends, so then in return you can expect these things too. They protect him, and when he is heedless, and they protect his property, and when he is heedless, and they become refuge when he is in danger. And also they do not forsake him in his troubles, and they show consideration for his family. And all these things, without performing our duties, and the genuinely, wholeheartedly, we cannot actually expect all these desirable consequences from the other side. So this is very important. And also servants and masters, that is the direction of beneath. So if you are having like servants, those days actually, even in Asian context, Asian region, we can still see this practice. Like they have servants for sometimes for everything, like they have drivers, and they have people to help cook for them, and they have helpers to take care of their parents and so forth. So they stay with you, with them, you live with them, and then they sometimes completely depend on you. So then it is up to you to take care of them. And then so then it's your duty to assign certain, the works according to their ability. So otherwise you might be you might end up being exploiting them. So that is something that we need to avoid. And you want to make sure that you assign duties depending on according to their abilities, and also by supplying them with food and the wages, and also by attending them in their sicknesses, and also by sharing with them medicines and other healthcare facilities, and all delicacies, and also granting them leave at times, like without exploiting them. And whenever they need the free time, you really need to, you need to have a sense of empathy, because you are playing a different role, they are playing a completely different role. So then you need to empathize yourself, you need to put yourself in the place of them, and understand that, okay, and these so and so have been working so far, and working a lot, and this is the time that I need to give him rest, and also some leave, and freedom and free time. That is also very important. And also the duties of the workers. I'm not sure how we can adjust this with the, in the current work at our current workplace, and how we can replace with today's context. But you can come up with your own ideas, like how to adjust this to today's context. So the duties of workers, like rise before him and go to sleep after him. And this is particularly about the household working, like household servants. And the, it is very clear as far as these the characteristics are concerned. So this is very much the household things. So they perform their duties well, and they uphold his good name and fame. So that is also here. And also a gentleman should serve ascetics and Brahmins at the upper quarters in 5 ways. This is also one of the quarter and the directions that we are supposed to perform our duties towards. Because regardless of the time, in the Buddha's time, actually, there were so many ascetics, Brahmins, and then the hermits, and then the lot of religious people and the wanderers and the meditators, they were there. So then Buddha assigned that the duty of taking care of that spiritual community, or the what you call monastic community. That is the duty assigned to the household. The household people, like the lay community. It is the duty of a lay community to take care of the monastic communities. So then, as devotees, and as the probably as devotees, it is up to you to it's your duty to have some respect and reverence towards them. And so your loving deeds and deeds of your bodily deeds, you need to express that gratitude through your bodily conduct, verbal conduct, and also mental conduct. You need to make sure that you have that loving kindness, and you have that appreciation, gratitude towards them. So you need to show that too. And also, by not turning them away at the again, that is something very interesting those days. Even today, like certain monastic the individuals, they completely depend on the food they collect going from house to house. So then if people close their gate and close their door to them, then they have no other way to survive. So it is here that this means that we can contextualize in today's context too, like as lay people, it is your duty to take care of the individuals in the monastic lives too. So and also by providing them with the material needs, whatever they need, it's your duty. Because what you are doing here is that while living household life, you are supporting that the people who are on the spiritual and the monastic life. So because we are mutually helping each other. How then maybe time comes that once you go to live a life of a monastic life, then you also can receive such treatments from other lay people as well. And also the duties of ascetics and the Brahmins, as far as the duties of Brahmins and ascetics are concerned, actually these are the duties of monks too, like not necessarily to the other religious mendicants who lived in the Buddha's time, but this is common to all kinds of all types of monastic communities. So they keep him. For instance, as monks, it is our duty to keep you from doing bad things, and also it's our duty to support you in doing good things, and also um, um, uh, to think about you with kind thoughts, not with any ulterior motives. So, and also to teach you what you already know, and also to teach you what you do not know, and also to clarify what you already know, and also to explain the path to heaven in this particular context. When it comes to Buddhism and Buddhist monastic tradition, it is our duty to show you not only the path to heaven, but also the path to liberation, nirvana. So these are the things actually included in this particular sutta, Sigālovāda Sutta. Today, actually, I wanted to talk about, everything about this particular sutta, because most of the time we tend to skip things. I hope today we didn't skip, because I wanted to give you kind of clear picture about the complete outline of this particular sutta, so you can truly appreciate this particular sutta. And also I would suggest that this is the kind of sutta that you need to go to very often. And also this is the kind of sutta that you need to listen to very often. And also at least once a month, or at least once in every 2 months, you need to refresh your memory, you need to refresh your understanding, just referring to the sutta. So this is that much important. And also when we look at this sutta from the perspective of Dhamma, we can see this particular sutta has all kinds of well-being: individual well-being, social well-being, and also spiritual well-being, the economic well-being, and the societal well-being, the well-being in relationships, and all kinds of well-being you can see. And as a inheritance, if you can give and give this particular sutta to your children and guide them and help them understand the importance of this sutta, that way it is like you have given everything to them. So it's like you save their lives from so much of dangers likely to happen to their lives. So this is that much important. And also, the relationships is very important. In this particular sutta, Buddha talks about the relationship from different perspectives. As far as relationships are concerned, we see relationships, different types of relationships, not only in the human society, but even in the nature. In the nature, you see communalism, and you see parasitism, and you see commensalism. The communalism means both parties, they benefit from each other. And then the parasitism is something, in that particular relationship, you make use of one and only one party is benefiting, and the other at the expense of the other party. And as far as the commensalism is concerned, that one party is benefiting by not benefiting the other, or without harming or benefiting the other. Of these three kinds of relationships, I think this mutualism is what is highlighted in this particular sutta. And also Buddha truly relied on this kind of relationship, the mutualism. We as individuals, we benefit from each other, and as we benefit from others, and also it is up to us to do something to promote the happiness of others. So we grow together. So united, we stand. Always, if we work with ulterior motives, then the undesirable consequences are unavoidable. So this is a very wonderful, a very true, like the precious sutta in that sense. So I would highly recommend everyone to read this sutta quite often, and also educate your children and everyone about the importance of this particular sutta. So again, I would like to extend my thanks and gratitude to Ekanayaka family for suggesting this particular topic. And so with that, now I would like to go to the transference of merit, since we have already spent quite a long time with this particular sutta. So having said that, now I would like to go to the transference of merits. Let me paraphrase the objectives of the today's Dhamma sermon. I received the description because in it I see a lot of names are mentioned, so I don't want to miss any part. So let me read the and sort of paraphrase the objectives of today's Dhamma sermon. So Ranjan and Kaushalya Ekanayaka family, they would like to pass the merits of this Dhamma event, Dhamma Dana, primarily to Kaushalya's brother, Nilupul Wickramage, who recently passed away in Sri Lanka, and also her mother, Karuna, and also father, Robert Wickramage, who passed away earlier, and also Ranjan's father, Don Punyadasa Ekanayaka, and also his beloved uncle, Mahanama Allepola, who passed away today due to cancer in Sri Lanka. So we are going to transfer merits to all of them as we transfer the merits to all our departed relatives. So, and also thinking thus we can transfer merits right now, and also everyone who joined us today with this Dhamma session, and you also can think of all your departed relatives, and out of compassion for them and gratitude, we can transfer our merits to them. May they be able to receive our merits, and may they be well and happy, and may they be able to shorten their samsaric journey and also attain to the final bliss of liberation. With that kind, compassionate intention, let us transfer our merits to them with the recitation of Gatha. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. And also Ranjan Ekanayaka and Kaushalya Ekanayaka and the family, they would like to give the blessings to everyone, and to all relatives and friends, also who are recovering from COVID situation in everywhere in the world. So also they want to bring blessings to their children, and their children Radit and Vihan, and also Roji. They as parents, they would like to give the blessings to their lives for their education, good health, and also they would like to wish them the guidance of all Kalyana Mittas. Also, they are going to bless upon Kausalya's brother, Nalaka, and sister Niroshi, and also their families and all other relatives. Also, Ranjan's mother, Padmini, so we are going to bless upon her too. And also brother Ajit, Anil, and sister Jayanti, and also Sandhya and their families and all other relatives. Also, they want to give the blessings to everyone, all the relatives and families who are listening to today's Dhamma sermon everywhere, from every part of the world. So also they are blessing us too for delivering this Dhamma sermon, and also they want to give the blessings to Venerable Most Venerable Kahadarupe Vimalaratana Nayaka Thero for making all these arrangements and making all these making their wishes come true. So they are expressing their gratitude, and they are expressing their reverence towards all those venerables for making this happen. And so also they want to give the blessings to all the Sangha members who are working around the globe, everywhere in the world, tirelessly guiding the people towards the righteous path and path of Nirvana. And also they want to give the blessings to everyone who are suffering from COVID situation, and in Sri Lanka, in US, and everywhere in the world. And also all those doctors, caregivers, and I mean, all those healthcare professionals who are dedicating themselves immensely for the well-being of all humanity, and they want to bless upon them all. So out of compassion for all, now we can transfer the merits to all the guardian deities, wishing them all happiness, good health, and longevity. So let us transfer all these merits to all the devas. May all the devas receive the merits, and may they be well and happy. May they keep the eye on you, protect you, bless upon you, so you can continue this journey on this journey of Dhamma journey until you attain Nirvana. May you be able to enjoy good health and longevity, and also may all the devas also be able to enhance their lives, and may they be well and happy. With that intention, let us transfer our merits to them by reciting the gathas together. Ettavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. By the power of the merits we accumulated throughout this meritorious act, may you be well and happy. May the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha be upon you. May we be able to attain the final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Oh.
Amen. Dai පින්වත්නි දැන් මෙතෙක් වෙලා සියලු දෙනාම ඉතාමත් වටිනා ධර්ම දේශනාවකට සවන් දුන්නා. බෝධින් වහන්සේ ළඟ ටිකක් මේ වෙලාවේ මම ඉන්න තැන සීතල ටිකක් අධිකයි. ඒ නිසා මම පොඩ්ඩක් එහාට වෙලා හිටියේ. ඉතින් ධර්ම දේශනාවට මම සවන් දුන්නා. අපේ පින්වත් පිරිස විශාල පිරිසක් ඒ ධර්ම දේශනාවට සවන් දීගෙන හිටියා. මම හිතන්නේ අපේ ගෞරවනීය චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරුවෝ මේ සිගාලෝවාද සූත්‍රය තුලින් මම හිතන්නේ ධර්ම දේශනා කරනවා නම් දවස් ගණනාවක් දේශනා කරන්නට තරම් කරුණු බොහෝමත්ම අවශ්‍ය වැදගත් කරුණු රාශියක් මතු කරමින් ඒ උතුම් සිගාලෝවාද සූත්‍රය මුල් කරගෙන මේ ධර්ම දේශනාව ඉතාමත් මැනවින් සිදු කළා. එතකොට මේ සිගාලෝවාද සූත්‍රය අපේ බුද්ධඝෝෂ හාමුදුරුවෝ හඳුන්වලා තිබෙන්නේ ගිහි විනය හැටියටයි. ගිහියෙකුට තිබෙන හික්මීමට තිබෙන ඉතාමත් වටිනා ධර්ම කාරණා ඇතුළත් ග්‍රන්ථයක් හැටියට සූත්‍රයක් හැටියට තමයි මේ සූත්‍රය සඳහන් කරලා තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපේ චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරුවෝ ඒ කරුණු අවශ්‍ය විදිහට මේ වෙලාවේ ඉතාමත්ම මනවින් පැහැදිලි කරමින් ඒ ධර්ම දේශනාව සිද්ධ කළා. මම වැඩිපුර කරුණු කියන්න අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් කිව යුතු කාරණා සියල්ලක්ම උන්වහන්සේ මනවින් පැහැදිලි කරමින් මේ ධර්ම දේශනාව සිද්ධ කළා. මේ වෙලාවේදී විශේෂයෙන්ම ඒ ධර්ම දේශනාවට සමන් දීපු මේ පින්වත් පිරිස හැම දිනාටමත් ධර්ම දේශනාව සිදු කරපු චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේටත් තුනුරුවන්ගේ සරණින් විශේෂයෙන් අපේ චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරුව බලාපොරොත්තු වන සියලුම ශාසනික ලෝක ශාසනික කටයුතු නිදුක්ව නිරෝගීව සිදු කරගෙන යන්නට, ඒ වගේම උන්වහන්සේට මෙලොව වශයෙන් ඒ තමන් වහන්සේගේ කටයුතු කරගෙන යාම සඳහා උදව් උපකාර කරන අපේ ශ්‍රද්ධානුසාරී හාමුදුරුවෝ, ඒ වගේම අනිකුත් දායක දායිකා පින්තුන්ටත් ආදරණීය දෙමව්පියන් වහන්සේලා ඇතුළු පවුලේ සියලුම දෙනාටත් අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. නිදුක් නිරෝගී සුවයෙන් යුක්තව මේ උතුම් ශාසනික කටයුතු සිද්ධ කරගෙන යන්නට හැම දිනාටම ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ලැබේවා. අපේ චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරුවන්ට විශේෂයෙන්ම නිදුක් නිරෝගී චිරජීවනයේම සැලසේවා කියලා අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන් අද දවසේ ධර්ම දේශනාවේ දායකත්වයේ දරා කටයුතු කර තිබෙන අපේ රංජන් ඒකනායක මහත්මයා, කෞසල්‍ය ඒකනායක මහත්මනිය, ඒ වගේම සදි පුතණුවන්, විහාන් පුතණුවන්, රෝජි දියණියන් ඇතුළු ඒ සියලුම පින්වතුන්ට ඥාති මිත්‍ර හැම දිනාටමත් අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. සියලු දෙනාගේ මෙලෝ ජීවිත නිදුක් නිරෝගී ජීවිත බවට පත් කරගෙන දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු ආදී සාර්ව ප්‍රකාරයෙන් සාර්ථක කරගන්න ලැබේවා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන් ආශිර්වාදයක් කරන මේ අවස්ථාවේ අපේ පින්කම් වලට නිතරම සම්බන්ධ වෙන පින්වතියක් වන අපේ ලාලිනී මහත්මණවිය විශේෂ අසාධ්‍ය තත්වයෙන් වාසය කරන බද්දා කරුණාරත්න මහත්මණියට ආශිර්වාද කරන්නට කියන බව මතක් කළා. ඉතින් ඊට මේකත් නිදුක් නිරෝගී සුවය ඉක්මන් සුවය ලැබේවා කියලා අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. ඉතින් මේ අවස්ථාවේදී උතුම් බුද්ධ පූජා, බෝධි පූජාවන් පැවැත්වීමෙන්, ධර්ම ශ්‍රවණය කිරීමෙන්, ඒ වගේම ස්වාමින් වහන්සේලාට දහම් පඬු පූජා කිරීමෙන් ආදී වශයෙන් මේ සියලු ආකාරයෙන් පින් රාශියක් අත්පත් කරගත්ත මේ සියලුම පුණ්‍ය සම්භාර ධර්මයන්ගේ වාසනා ශක්තියෙන් අපේ චන්දානන්ද හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ ඇතුළු පින්වත් ඔබ හැම දෙනාටම මෙලොව වශයෙන් නිදුක් නිරෝගී ජීවිත ගත කරන්න ලැබේවා. ඒ වගේම අපේ රංජන් මහත්මයාගේ අදහස පරිදිම ලෝකයේ තුල මේ දවස්වල ඇති වෙලා තිබෙන මේ භයානක රෝග බියට කොවිඩ් වලට ගොදුරු වෙලා ඉන්න හැම දිනාටමත් ඉක්මන් සුවය වේවා. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් ක්‍රියා කරන හැම දිනාටම රෝගීන් සුවපත් කර ගැනීමේදී සිටින සියලු දිනාටත් සියලු ආරක්ෂාව සැලසේවා. කායික මානසික සැනසෙල්ල උදා වේවා. සියලු දෙවියෝද මේ පින් අනුමෝදන් වෙලා හැම දිනාම හොඳින් ආරක්ෂා කෙරෙත්වා. අප හැම දිනාගේම නමින් මිය පරලෝකීය සියලු ඥාතීන්ටත් කොවිඩ් වලින් මිය පරලෝකීය සියලුම දිනාටත් පරලෝක ජීවිත සැපවත් කරගන්න ලැබේවා. අප හැම දිනාටමත් මෙලොව සියලු යහපත් ජීවිත ගත කරන්නට සියලු දෙවියන්ගේ තුන්රුවන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදය ලැබේවා. අවසාන වශයෙන් අප කාටත් ශාන්තිනායක වූ බුදු පියාණන් වහන්සේ හොඳයි සැපයි සාන්තයි කියා වදාළ උතුම් වූ නිවන් සුවය ධර්මාබෝධයෙන්ම ලැබේවා කියා සාදු කියා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන්න. හැම දිනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි. ආශිර්වාද ගාථාව සජ්ජායනා කරනවා. කවුරුත් දැනගන්න. අභිවාදන සීලිස්ස නිච්ඡං වද්දාපචායිනෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩಂತಿ ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරාෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිබ්බාන සම්පatti මිනාතේ සමිජ්ජතු.